Friday afternoon. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins, and we've got meteorologist Mike Prangley with us as well.
Yes. It's going to be a fun show here, Bobby. We got football to talk about,
yes.
Labor Day peek ahead. We got your local forecast and even some incredible video of a dust storm coming up. So stay tuned for that.
Haboob.
An actual haboob. And we'll talk about the difference between a dust storm and a haboob.
Out in the desert. Yeah, that's right. Nothing for us, obviously. We got too much rain for that. So let's start with our local forecast. You know, we had that weather impact alert from earlier this morning. Now, obviously, things have dried out a little bit. But we are starting a little bit more of a drying trend than just getting rid of the afternoon showers and storms. We have some drier air up to the north. So here's what it looks like right now on the radar. And you can see most of Pinellas and Hillsborough is dry. Couple little sprinkles there in eastern Hillsborough and down into Manatee County as well. You can see right here near Duet. But obviously, most of the rain's out here in central and eastern Polk and Hardy, especially Highlands County. If you've been watching us over the last several days, you've noticed that this line that you see here has been up here. All right? Citrus County, especially Friday and the Saturday, just got dumped on because the northern edge of this was over top of them. But that has slowly slid southward over the last several days, and now it's all the way down towards Sanibel. There's Sanibel right there. You can see they're actually getting some pretty decent rain down there. But how much further south does it go? And that's key, because if it were to go even further south, we would really get some cooler and drier air in here. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. There's the front now. It is just about to I-4, all right? But it is really stalling out. You see how it's stalled out over the Gulf right here? So what happens is you get this nice cool air, dry air coming down, and it pushes further and further south. Now the coolest, the driest, is up north, all right? But on the fringes of that, you do get slightly cooler and slightly drier air. And this time of year in Tampa Bay, that's our hope. We're not hoping for 40s and dry air, Mike. I mean, we're not going to see any of that.
Even in November, December, you know, we've got to watch those cold fronts carefully, because a lot of times the models overdo how much cool air is actually going to move here into the Tampa Bay area. Yep. But at least there's one spot, I think, Bobby, we can watch. You showed that line of drier air, lower dew points coming down. So as we go to where we live, if there's one call I want to make, this is what we do. We're going to make this call here. I'm going to go one spot in our area, could see lows in the upper 60s, which we have not seen since we're talking early June here. So I've got areas near Beverly Hills and Inverness as my spots, 68, because notice the dew points. They're going to be at 68 to 71. And I think the key here, lower dew points. And this will be one of the areas, the few areas in our viewing area that we'll see some clearing skies. Up near Crystal River, especially northern Citrus County over to Sumter County. We'll have enough of clearing. It's not going to be totally clear, and the lower dew points to work with that we will drop. In fact, as we look overall into the south, there's going to be a big difference between areas to the north and to the south. You showed that demarcation line, just a very sharp line in that satellite picture showing where the drier, cooler areas versus the warm tropical area. And you've guessed it, we get to Pinellas and Hillsborough County, beautiful St. Pete, Carrollwood, Tarpon Springs. 75, the best we can do. But you know what? That's better than the 80s we've seen. And those dew points will drop into the low to mid 70s here. And then we go a little farther south, and yeah, there could even be some showers out there by the time you get to Manatee and Sarasota. So more like the mid to upper 70s. One area maybe inland. Folks are saying, well, what about us in Polk County? Maybe toward the Green Swamp, but again, the clearing's going to be tough, even up toward Lakeland here, so mainly low 70s. Maybe we'll call it 72 for the Green Swamp, with those dew points closer to 71 degrees. And again, the big key to the forecast is how far south will that front get, and you can really make it out here. We can play meteorologists together, because the front not moving too much farther south. We got 68 for your lows from Tallahassee across the I-10 corridor to St. Augustine, Jacksonville. And then notice by the time you get to Gainesville, this is kind of telling us the front gets really hung up by the time it gets to Alachua County here, north central Florida, and then it'll go to Orlando, Tampa, back up into the mid to upper 70s. Of course, Fort Myers, the farther south you go, the warmer it's going to be. And there's that clearing line, that cool clearing line Bobby showed there. Taking a look at this, just that front is having trouble moving south. Okay, so high-res futurecast showing still some cloudiness, still that front just kind of really fading is what I'm calling it. And then as we go through the holiday weekend, it's still going to be a player. Okay, so some schools have thought meteorology is this: fronts never truly die. Well, that front, what's left of it, will re-energize and likely start moving back to the north and really kind of be stalled close to us as we head into the weekend. But we do have a little bit of a break coming, correct, Bobby?
Yeah, we do. But a secondary front, if you will, because right now, Mike was saying 68 tonight, Hernando, Citrus County. Look where the dew points are right now. These are the current dew points, 67 in Gainesville. So it's close, right? So what that means is the temperature's not really going to drop. It's not going to drop below the dew point because otherwise you'd have 100% humidity, you'd have fog forming almost. But see the difference in the air? Just think of this number as, is it sticky, is it humid out, or is it not? 67, it's not bad. That's a little bit more comfortable. 77 in Tampa, that's humid, okay? Temperature-wise, it's not really changing much. We are obviously a lot cooler because we've had a lot of clouds around with all of the rain. We're in the low to mid 80s right now. And I've got to go back and do some of the math and look at this, but that would make, we're probably approaching almost 100 hours that we haven't been at 90 degrees in Tampa.
Oh, wow.
In August, and the average high is 91, we're saying, that's saying something. Here is the model. Now, this is the GFS, so it's thinking it comes a little bit further to the south. But here's the dryer. Now, this is the PW, right? This is the amount of moisture from the ground all the way up. There's going to be more dry air up above us than there is going to be down at the surface, okay? And so this kind of shows you all of that. Notice where the front is. See that right now? That is right now. Let's go out to tonight. And now, as we get into tomorrow evening, this is Wednesday at 7 p.m., the main front's here, but as Mike said, it's kind of backing up a little bit. Here's the core of that cool dry air. Here's what we want, right? This is what goes along with your pumpkin spice, okay? This is not really, well, certainly in Tampa, it's not. Somewhat in Jacksonville, and as he said, the I-10 corridors. But look, by the time we get towards Thursday afternoon, it's all right. There's a low sitting here. It's tough to see. See, there's a low sitting right here. This is a low, okay? And you can see the wind coming in around it, all right? And so even if there was a front, say right here, it's pushing that front now off to this direction. Okay, so watch what happens. See all that moisture comes back, and not only for us, it doesn't really go away for us, just a little bit of a break, but as you get into the I-10 corridor and then you get up almost to I-20, you get up in the Atlanta area, you see they're going to get some really nice air. But then it's coming back. This is by Friday. So now we're talking Labor Day weekend, all right? Saturday afternoon, low pressure sitting right here, and you've likely got a front doing something like this, okay? Maybe even a little bit further to the south. So that means we're going to have a chance for some showers around here, but it does not give us any of this dry air, at least not on Saturday. Let's go out to Sunday. Ooh, it's getting close, all right? Having this low, and now it's going to be sitting here off of Charleston, and if it can get along the coast, I'm not saying nor'easter here, but you see this right here? This is a broad area of low pressure. It's going to try and form a low out here. Watch Sunday, and let's go into Monday. There it is. You see that spinning right there? That's the low trying to form. That tries to let all this dry air get in here. And I think we don't get much tonight and tomorrow night, all right? We might get a little bit, especially Hernando, right? Citrus especially. But Tampa, by Labor Day afternoon, Monday afternoon, that could be some dew points even dropping, feel a little bit better. Yeah, Mike, it feels it looks like we've got a pretty decent shot of seeing that now.
Well, it's good you said it. The models started hinting at that this morning. So our weather team had a little huddle here, and we're saying, hey, Sunday may be our stormiest day, and basically based on where that front and that moisture return was you were showing. And then by Monday, yeah, we were seeing that low, and we're saying, you know what, I bet the models will start trending drier. So hopefully that 50% chance you see on Labor Day, we can continue to lower. And we did see that west and northwest winds. So I think if we're planning our Labor Day weekend, first things first, it's not going to be a washout. We don't have any tropical threats. It's just we're thinking as we go into ding, Saturday and Sunday. We got to really watch Sunday, really, at least, you know, for the wettest weather of the Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, and you said it, man, no tropical things to watch
We'd
for
rather
the weekend.
have rain.
Ooh, we love that in late August. So yesterday, if you were watching this, we were showing you, what Mike was saying, we're looking at the trends in the models. So this is the GFS. Yesterday, it had the dew point for Wednesday down to 60, okay? And I was saying, this is not too good. It's up to 70 now for tomorrow. But these numbers are lower. We're 77 right now, okay? If this were to happen, 70, even upper 60s, especially upper 60s, you would feel the difference. And I think some of that could happen, but let's go back over the European forecast model. And there it is. There's the difference. And that's what it said yesterday, and it's been a better model altogether. You know, the GFS is flip-flopping, so it doesn't look like it's really having a good shot at it. But we'll go back to that Futurecast model Mike showed you before, and you can see as we get into tomorrow afternoon, that's, well, 7 in the morning right there, you see we have a lot more sunshine. What you want to watch are the winds. So see, look at the winds out over the Gulf. You see how they're out of the north and the west? That's the front. The front is sitting right in here. See the winds here out of the east and southeast? That means the front is sitting right over I-4. and that's tomorrow, okay? And that's about where it is right now. So what that means is that our model, our in-house model, our Futurecast, doesn't think that it pushes any further to the south. We'll push it down a little bit more as we go through Wednesday afternoon, and we do dry. We do get some northwesterly winds to bring in some slightly drier air. So you're saying there's a chance, Mike?
Yeah, back to some sunshine in the Sunshine State, and especially about tomorrow. And your fact of the day, I loved it. How many hours in a row has Tampa been below 90 degrees? 120 hours. So we have more weather questions coming up and some of the best weather video you've seen in a long time. We'll be back right after this.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. Unique quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
These big trucks are dangerous and fast. And when it comes to big truck wrecks, the stakes can be really high. That's why you need a lawyer that's gotten big results for his clients. Hi, I'm attorney Dan Newland. I've recovered billions of dollars for accident victims. So if you've been hit by one of these big trucks or involved in a car accident, call me now. Let me fight for you.
At 813-888-8000. That's 813-888-8000.
Before hurricane season hits, it's time to prep your home. Secure outdoor equipment and generators. Clear debris from around your AC unit and schedule a pre-storm HVAC and electrical inspection.
Those are some great tips. And Cool Today is here to help you weather the storm. For over 60 years, we've been here to help Floridians with their cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. We can help you prepare, protect, and repair your home. Call 888-40-TODAY.
Jeopardy is for everybody.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah.
With players just like you.
Paramedic, retired teacher, psychiatrist.
I'm a little bit competitive.
That's the spirit.
Watch their victories.
We have a giant killer.
And heartbreaks.
Oh, no.
The next super champion could be anyone.
It's almost like a superhero origin story.
It could be you.
Oh, wow.
It's all happening on Jeopardy.
Jeopardy weeknights at 7:30 right here on 10 Tampa Bay.
Welcome back, and we are, yes, digesting the latest information, and yes, we're talking about sunshine returning tomorrow, and as we go into part of Thursday, and then as we get to Labor Day, we've got some better news. We'll get to that, but first, we've got some riveting weather video. Okay, so we've got something called a haboob. Now, yeah, it's another term for an intense dust storm there, Bobby. And look at this, it's like a mountain and a wall of dust where day can turn into night in an instant. I mean, check it out. In fact, this extended 25 miles. This was not far from Phoenix, and we were talking 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts. This is created, what's different about a haboob versus a dust storm is it's more intense, and it's created usually by strong thunderstorms and outflow boundaries. So we know all about outflow boundaries here in Tampa, right? Okay, it's that cool rush of wind ahead of thunderstorms that really start to kick in, and that stirred up all the dust. Not only that, they went from the haboob warnings, 70 mile per hour winds, they had down power lines, at least 50,000 without power, think about that, and then they went into some flooding, some very heavy rain, which is typical because you got that storms, the rush of air out ahead of the storms, and then with that monsoonal flow, the rain started filling in. Pretty amazing.
We get that gust front here, but we just don't have dust so you can see it, right? It's just
exactly.
And especially like say in the Mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas, you see the leaves changing, right? Remember you used to say it's the leaves turning upside down?
Yes.
And that's when you know a storm's coming. That's happening from the wind coming down out of the thunderstorm and out ahead of it. That's why you get that cooler rush of air.
That rain-cooled air, going back to the meteorology and really the science, is much heavier and more dense, so it rushes toward the ground, and then that's what stirs up all of that dust. But again, we had just winds up near hurricane force, think about it. And then we had some more dust storm issues. This is going to be like a big week for haboobs out west. So get used to some more crazy video coming out of areas like Arizona and then Nevada. In Nevada, this is the Burning Man Festival. And we're all...
Look, there's all kinds of crazy videos coming out of Burning Man to begin
well,
with.
You don't even need a dust storm.
But add this to it.
Can you imagine? So this area, this is more toward north of Las Vegas, and the terrain is pretty intense there, Bobby. So I mean, it's like a big dust bowl. So you remember a couple years ago in 2023, this was the same area that had the flooding rain where folks were stranded there.
Stuck in the mud.
This time around, tough for those folks to even breathe or see. I mean, that's a pretty intense dust storm for sure. And as we look at the Burning Man Fest, it's like a city that is built just for this festival, a big music fest. So you go from 0 people to a population of 70,000, and they've got these tents everywhere. Just an amazing sight. So imagine trying to keep your tents upright with these winds coming in at over 50 miles per hour, and then you can't see anything. Pretty scary, huh?
And then all of that sand gets in everything. That is sand, essentially, and it gets into everything. And so, yeah, it's not a comfortable time. Look at the radar. I've got the radar up over the southwest, the Four Corners, and you can see rain. It actually makes it beautiful in the desert after this happens, but this is their monsoon. You see out in the Vegas area, between Vegas and Flagstaff, that's a flash flood warning. All right? You see the yellow that you get out here in eastern Arizona, and then also up in the northwestern New Mexico. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings. And one of the issues with severe thunderstorm warnings is high winds, 58 miles per hour or higher. So you likely could have a lot of dust blowing around just in those areas alone. But look at, I mean, this goes all the way up through northern Nevada, through Reno, up into Idaho. They've got rain up in eastern Oregon, not unheard of there, but even in the mountains of Colorado, dealing with all of this rain.
Wow. Pretty intense there, Bobby. And as we look here at home, we're thankful we're not in a dusty desert for sure. And we're thankful we have no tropical activity for our Labor Day. But let's detail the rain and what it may mean for the first college football games. You ready? Are you ready for football? Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, so we're going to go and take a look at some games. Can you believe that? UCF kicks off Thursday night. We don't have to wait till Saturday. This is a 7 p.m. kickoff. They play Jacksonville State. Bobby, I guess they're the Gamecocks. I don't know much about Jacksonville State, but the big thing that sticks out to me, look at that drier weather we're forecasting. That doesn't just make it into Tampa. We're talking Orlando with some good football weather. And I think that's pretty good. When you're talking upper 70s to near 80, that's good with a light southeast wind. So the bounce house will be rocking. And then as we go to the next game, Boise State plays our very own USF Bulls. And look at this, we're talking about more sunshine and an early kickoff at 5:30, and you know, this is the time of day we usually get storms, but we're not in that typical pattern. We got this unusual front. We showed that dew point line coming south, so I'm keeping the rain chance very low here. I have it at 30% is what I had. So partly sunny, not as humid was the forecast. Sunset at 7:54. I don't think Boise State. That's a tough start, a pretty tough team. But I think USF has got this. What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah,
I think home field advantage and weather advantage.
They got it. There is a very small chance. I think 30% probably covers it. The best chance is going to be inland by that particular time. So. Yeah, let's go college football.
Woo.
I can't wait.
We got the Bucks kicking off soon, and that'll be great. Now, coming up, you got to stay tuned. We've got the weather question of the day and the tropics. It's all related. Could this be the year where we stay quiet for the rest of the season? Bobby, we'll have that answer coming up.
I was driving when an 18-wheeler turned in front of me. I locked up my brakes, bam, slid dead into the truck. Bloody and hurt, I was loaded into an ambulance, and that's when I put out my phone and called attorney Dan Newton. Dan jumped right on it. He was in my corner the whole way. He fought the fight from beginning to end and got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Dan, your awesome team deserves 6 stars. Thank you for winning my case.
Weather impacts your life every day. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. You can find out about any change in the weather with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just stream for the latest forecast, any weather impact alert, updated tropics forecast, and take a live look at the radar. Anytime you want, and it's free. It's just one more way we're helping you stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
And it's like a movie script. It's family rivalry, betrayal, and murder.
They cover America's most fascinating true crime stories.
One way or another, that's an execution.
Absolutely.
Every case.
Who would want to hurt him?
Every clue.
This is dynamite for an investigator.
Every mystery that keeps you guessing until the very end.
Does everyone's jaws drop?
Dateline, 5 times a week.
Watch weekdays at 4 on 10 Tampa Bay.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. Unique quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
Don't forget the cookies, Mike.
Yeah.
Always important.
We all love the cookie, man. And don't forget to fire up the grill. Bobby, do you use mesquite? Is it all in the charcoal?
You know, I don't get too crazy about it. No, I'm
Okay.
gas grill guy. Boring. I know it.
That's okay.
But
That's
I make
old school.
a daggone good drink.
Yeah, that okay. I'll be over. And then for my steaks, I just like a slow cook. I like them really medium rare. But we'll talk about that more. We got to talk about our forecast. Our Grillcast index is between 0 and 10. And notice Saturday, I'm giving it a 6. We know it's not going to be a washout, but there will be some increasing storms. Sunday's the day to watch. That may be the day where we order out, or actually take our wives or our family out for dinner. That'd be the day. So that's just a 5, and that's why we've got the red spatula. And then Monday would still be, I think, the best day, and hopefully we can continue to up this a 7. And I've got the green light go for firing up the grill right there. And as we look at the question of the day, going from our Grillcast to you, we appreciate you writing in. So John in St. Pete, how much of our tropical season is left, Bobby? That was his big question. And can we skip the rest of the season? That may be a tough task there, but we got a long way to go, don't we?
Yeah, we do. November 30th is the end of the season. So the statistical peak, though, is September 10th. And if you look at our chart here, I think between now and September 10th, things are going to be fairly quiet. We're watching a couple ways, but the long-term models go out about 2 weeks or so. And there's not a lot there. Probably on the back end of that, 8th, 9th, 10th, we'll start seeing a few things pop. But we're in a particular setup right now where it looks like it'll stay fairly quiet. But this is just a statistical peak, and you got to think, is the back half of the season heavy weighted? Will we see more storms? And Milton, what do we have? Helene and Milton in.
It was within 13 days,
13 days in October.
It was.
So.
And even though September, that's a good point. We show that graph there. September 10th is the peak, and it's a 6-month season. This is a long hurricane season. The problem is, once we get toward the peak, we still have 75% of our season because the storms are feeding off the warm tropical water. So that's the key. So we will get these little quiet periods, these lulls in the activity like we're going to see over the next week or two. But the problem is, once the meat and potatoes, Bobby, we're talking about the steaks and the grill there, that's still coming. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's still getting in there because the water's going to be warm now. If we end up getting these fronts coming down and this pattern holds on, we could change things up a little bit, and that would probably put more storms down to our south. This is the tropical update. Now you can see we've got this the remnants of that. That is not anything to worry about. Fair on, heading out to sea. We do have this wave that we've been watching out there in the Caribbean, south of the Dominican Republic. You see that there? It's persistence. It's not really doing much, but the forecast model really doesn't do much. This is the European. Takes that moisture over into Central America. There's another wave that tries to come off of Africa in about 3 or 4 days or so, but yesterday it looked a little bit more promising.